The Flex Network. Flex on everybody.
Oh, yes. The boys are back in town. The one, the only, at Alan Seslowski, ALANSES, Low Sky. Alan Seslowski, you're on muted mic. Come back into the party here. What is going on tonight, brother?
Good Saturday evening. It sounds like that you and I, by the way, I like your shirt. That's aesthetically pleasing gear that you have on.
Thank you. Appreciate you for saying that. Of course, I always look good every single time, and that's no doubt. I am Flex Matt of the Flex Network. We co-comprise the Flex Network together in Seslowski. I just got to tell you something right here. It's double White Claw, fisted White Claw night tonight. Yes.
Yeah, I got a little glass of red going. I had a martini earlier, just finished a nice little filet mignon dinner. So this is the dessert, little red, little Pinot to flush it down.
Oh my gosh. Did you just say filet mignon?
Filet mignon.
With a martini?
Yeah,
Did you go out? Did you go out? And
No. I got my amazing wife. She cooked it up for us, and in a COVID world, we're still having some dinners inside, and it was restaurant quality, but with all the conveniences of home.
Probably got that from the Costco, the Costco martini section.
Oh, you know what? I'm going to give a little shout out here. We get our steaks from a place called US Wellness, which is grass-fed beef.
Oh.
I don't know if there's a little more information than you wanted, but yeah, there you go.
Oh, that is all the information that I wanted. And yes, Seslowski.
Wait, how you doing tonight? How you doing?
Oh, I'm doing fantastic. I did not see, yes, Flex Matt looking so fly as I am. Yes, reading a comment there. I am doing great in life, but my fantasy football team, Seslowski, OMG, it is putrid in some of my leagues.
Yeah,
putrid.
I'm enjoying the chaos a little bit. I think this is fun. I think I like seeing, listen, it's not fun when it happens to you. I'll admit that. But I like seeing people scramble. I like people asking questions. I had some guy in a league actually ask if Pat Mahomes doesn't play, can he start Darnold, knowing that he's already played? I had a guy actually ask that question, and I had to put him on blast. I mean, of course you can't start a guy that's already played.
Why not, Seslowski? Come on. It's a madhouse out there. Of course.
But let me, if you were going against that guy, and this is what I asked the guy. This is what I said to him. I said, if Darnold scored a 4, would you still want to start him? He goes, no. Then I said, well, you can't start him now that he has a 25.
Well, of course, in a nice hardcore league, Seslowski, but I like to play only in leagues where I get a bunch of just ninny lickers, a bunch of candy bar salesmen out there with the real shark. And I put your $100 down, friend. And I'd like to take it all. And sometimes I play in 50-team leagues just so that I can really stack up. Just joking you. Yes, Seslowski, we hit on a couple of our flex plays last week. Yes, we did. We definitely told you last week Andy Isabella was going to go off. And yes, he did. Andy Isabella.
Jeff Wilson.
Jeffrey Wilson. Yes, Seslowski. This week, we will get into a couple more of our flex plays. But right now, Seslowski, let me tell you something. How easy is it for you right now to go to your top sock drawer and find the soiled pajamas and a $20 bill, Seslowski, so you can head over to Thrive Fantasy and put it down, and they will match up to $50. Maybe you've got 50 in the old sock drawer. There, Seslowski. I don't know what kind of you eat filet mignon.
Well, you want to know what's in my sock drawer? So I was looking through my top sock drawer today. Not only was there like socks that I've had there since 1997 with a hole in them, there was some dried out weed in there, which I found at the bottom. It turned brown. It's been so long. And I found like a New York Mets lighter in there that I've been looking for since 2003. So yeah, but I can find a 20. Go over to Thrive Fantasy and
Yes, of course. The most important thing in your sock drawer, says Lowski, is that phantom free bit of money that Thrive will go ahead and match you. And when you're over there, go ahead, hop into a couple contests. They make it awfully easy, as they only put up props of your top tier athletes, your Patrick Mahomes, which this week maybe is on a little bit of a teeter-totter, on a little bit of a we don't know yet, says Lowski. Pick 10 out of the 20 player props and prop up. Use promo code FLEX when you sign up today, says Lowski.
All right, you ready to rock here? What do you want to talk about today? I mean, I have a couple things I want to say or ask you. And is there anything specific you want to get into, or?
Yes, real quick to start this off, just a 5-minute segment on dynasty trade values. Okay, it's a weird year this year, says Lowski. No one knows what's going on. Some of your top tier athletes injured. Don't know if it's COVID. Don't know if it's the athletic ability is maybe not there this year because maybe they didn't get a solid chance to work out. No preseason games. Don't know. But it sure seems like you should be out there buying every bit of this COVID precipitous fall of your star athletes, like your Michael Thomases, your Christian McCaffreys, your Saquon Barkleys, because this is a red shirt year, says Lowski, for the entire world.
You brought up something interesting. All right. So in a dynasty startup next year, let's say we were just doing the draft today. Okay. Where is Saquon Barkley actually going to get drafted in a super flex league? Is he going to go in the first round? I mean, who are the guys that you're definitely taking above him? Like, I mean, where do you think that Barkley, it's been 2 years of injuries now, maybe he's just above the threshold of the correct size? I mean, we know he's a super athlete, a super player, but are you really going to want that guy to be your first round pick?
Who would you draft over him at the RB position alone?
Yeah, in Dynasty, right?
In Dynasty.
So, yeah. So, I mean, it's hard to tell a year from now, but I have a feeling that Hilaire, Dobbins, and Taylor are all going to be first-round picks, along with Josh Jacobs. If Miles Sanders performs, I still think Zeke Elliott's probably going to be worth a first-round pick, even though he's getting up there in years now from a dynasty perspective. I think that's kind of it, right? And then, a couple of the
5 or 6 of them. You probably say 5 or 6.
Yeah, but I think I would, I just not sure that I would, the type of way I play fantasy football, that I would even take Saquon Barkley other than on the, the wrap. But I mean, right? I mean, who else are you going to really take there?
Even on the wraparound, he's still probably
I just don't want to
first round.
I don't know, man. I don't know. I'm sure he will go there at pick 8, pick 9, pick 10.
Yeah.
I mean, I could see it. For me, it's just not. I'm going to look to not do that. I just don't want a guy that's been injured. It's the same reason I didn't want Dalvin Cook. And so far, I've been wrong. But someone like Dalvin Cook, man, it's just just right when you get comfortable, that's when they pull the rug out from underneath you. So, yeah, I saw you did a trade in one of our leagues today.
Yes, I wanted to get into that, says Lowski, please.
Yeah, that was a good one. I liked it.
So here's the thing. Tell me what side you're on. Catch TMC, Terry McLaurin, Laviska Shenault, and a second. Or Michael Thomas and a third.
Yeah, I mean, Michael Thomas, what we thought of a month ago was that he was a top 7 or 8 startup dynasty pick. And if somebody took him at pick 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, you wouldn't even blink an eye. So what's really changed? I mean, okay, so he got injured. He's not an injury that's not going to bring him back. And Drew Brees has not looked great, and he's probably retiring. And, I mean, Terry McLaurin has produced even with poor quarterback play. So the gap has closed, but you certainly got the better player. Once Michael Thomas comes back and puts up that first 29-point week, 33-point week, you're going to be like, okay, Michael Thomas is back. So, yeah, of course I'm going to want the best player, Michael Thomas. So I think he did well, but I understand the other side. It's not a ripoff. It's an even trade.
It's not a ripoff. Correct. It's not a
but
ripoff.
I
It's an
want the side.
easy,
Yeah, I want the
easy,
side you
even
got.
trade. And here's the thing. Michael Thomas is not dead in the water. Okay. He's not.
No, not even
Terry
close to that.
McLaurin and LaVisca Chenault for Michael Thomas, essentially, straight up, is what the trade is almost. In your superstar value. That's a fair trade. Maybe. I mean, it might be a little bit lopsided towards the Michael Thomas side because what he can be at his elite.
The 5-year age difference between the two principals on that, and obviously LaVisca could certainly end up being an every week starter. And when we say an every week starter, we mean someone that's top 36 receiver, someone that even if he profiles to have a career like John Brown, where you're like, hey, I know I can get my 12 points on any given week. I could get my 18 or 25. So, yeah, I mean, it's a very fair trade. Of course, at the Flex Network, we always want the best player in the trade. We don't want to break a dollar into 4 quarters. We want to take 4 quarters and make them $1. And that's what you did in this trade. So well done.
Yes. Now let's go to just redraft trades this year. Man, it is awfully smelly. It is awfully smelly, but don't you think the adverse needs to happen? Your star elite player in redraft can now essentially be paid 3/4 on the dollar right now for some guys.
You said it right. Depth has never been more important especially in the leagues that we like to play in, when there's 2 running backs, 3 receivers, plus 2 flex and a super flex. I mean, if you're playing in a traditional 10-team league where it's 2, and 1, sure, you're going to still want stars. But when depth is important, I think that cracking like Kenyon Drake is a player that I saw traded a lot this week, because he has not met expectations, but he's still getting the volume. So that's exactly what we're talking about. Do you crack someone like Drake into 2 starters, or do you keep Drake and hope that it turns around? I mean, that's exactly what you're talking about.
So what would you say? Let's talk about Drake specifically, because I'm going to give you my trade.
Dad, you want to give me the trade first, or?
No, I'm saying about Drake. Yeah. Would you go ahead and release him at this point if you could get 2 competent guys back for him?
No, because all of the running backs that have faced Carolina have gotten well. Josh Jacobs had 3 touchdowns the first week, and then if you look at their opponents each week, that's the running back that exploded. So Drake is playing Carolina this week, and I think that if you want to sell him, just wait till after this week. I think I could see 120 yards and 2 touchdowns with like 4 catches. Like this. If it's going to happen, this is the week. You're not going to lose value this week. You're only going to gain it. So I would not sell this week on Drake.
So in your redrafts, 0-3 is a very common denominator right now. And for me, I have a good 14-team league roster that has just gone up against a monster every week. It seems like I'm 2 points away in every single week, and I'm looking at my team, and I'm just like, So here's what I did. Tyreek Hill, Austin Hooper. That's my side. The accepted side, James Robinson, Deontay Johnson, Logan Thomas. A little 2 for 3. Really, it's a 1 for 3, getting back my tight end that I am just unhappy with in Austin Hooper this year. Getting back an upside play in Logan Thomas. I don't know how much upside, but geez, James Robinson and Deontay Johnson for Tyreek Hill. Let's call it that. James Robinson, Deontay Johnson for Tyreek Hill in an 0-3 team. I have Tyreek. Don't you love that trade?
Absolutely. Yeah. Because Tyreek Hill is, sure, he'll have his, you'll be upset when you see him score 38 one week, but there's a lot of like single digit numbers in there. Tyreek Hill is mispriced based on, that he's league tilting, but you don't want to have that kind of week to week downside with a receiver, and you cash in well. Like James Robinson, people are unsure what to make of him, but if we're drafting today, the guy's a 2nd-round pick in redraft, right? I mean,
in redraft, yeah. Well,
yeah. So
yes.
So it's another week. It's going to become apparent that that's the case. But what I liked about James Robinson last week was he produced elite fantasy numbers, even in a poor game script. He transcended, like he's an all the time back. So I think he did well there. I would have done exactly the same thing.
Just an interesting year this year. Just a completely off the rails It's everywhere.
I
Cam
love the
Newton
cat.
had COVID. Of course, he's had COVID the whole year. I'm sure this guy's used it to his advantage. And now, once the league has caught him, he is on the COVID IR list. This guy, we're probably not going to see him for 2 to 3 weeks, maybe. Just destroying
Maybe
some
4.
teams. Maybe
Maybe 4.
4. Who knows? And we don't know how many people, are they going to pull you? We don't know. We don't know. And I hope it's not the end of it, says Lowski.
Yeah, there's quite a few quarterbacks that are on the ropes right now. Obviously, like if you have Cam Newton in a redraft league, if it's a 1 QB league, obviously it's an easy drop. The question comes in your super flex leagues, like what do I do? If hopefully you have an IR spot that solves the problem. But right now, if you're in a non-IR situation and you have Cam Newton and you're in a super flex league, you got to drop the guy. You literally have to drop the guy. I know it sucks, but you need to pick up another quarterback. Dwayne Haskins is on the ropes right now. I mean, he's another quarterback where I've picked up Kyle Allen where I could because I just think the hammer is coming. I could see, did you see the press conference last week? I thought this was a mainstream press conference. A lot of people didn't see it, but Ron Rivera, they were interviewing him. And they said, what do you think about your developing quarterback? What do you think about Haskins? He just said, and straight up looked at the reporter, says, I don't know how much longer I could take this. He goes, 3 interceptions. And again, he goes, it's not, I can't, he's not my, basically he said, he's not my quarterback. He's not the guy I drafted. No. Kyle Allen's the guy I brought with me from Carolina that I know can run the offense. So, yeah, I could see a quick benching for someone like that. So there's other quarterbacks that, that are going to be in play that we're going to be bidding on in Superflex leagues.
I like Dwayne Haskins. That's the thing.
Me too.
I like him. I feel like he can do more. I mean, how long, says Lowski, until we hear a couple knocks on the Saints' doors for the Jameis Winston trade? How much is a team giving up for Jameis Winston at all this year? What do you think? Nothing? Nobody?
I think the Saints are going to keep him because Drew Brees he hasn't looked great, right? And last year he went down for a series of games. I think they, the Saints see it's a win now window. Listen, the Saints are 1-2. If they go 1-3, 1-4, 2-5, and that's, and their backs against the wall, I don't think, I know it sounds crazy, but I don't think that benching Drew Brees, well, then there's Taysom Hill there too. So yeah, I guess you're right though. I'm rethinking it as we're talking that if someone offered an actual draft pick for Jameis Winston, sure. But I could see the Saints actually playing him. That's the crazy thing.
I love it, says Lowski. Give me more Jameis Winston because I love it.
Yeah,
I
especially
love
for
it.
your Michael Thomas share now.
That's what I'm saying. I'm all of a sudden in love with all things Jameis Winston because I got my first Michael Thomas dynasty share. Because everybody that listens to this knows I hate wide receivers. Hate them. I just hate them. I always feel like I miss. Real quick, there's a lot of talk in the industry that Tyreek Hill, I know we aforementioned him, is the dynasty wide receiver 1.
No.
There is some sentiment that he's the dynasty wide receiver 1, says Lowski.
You really, well, I mean, if we're redrafting, if we're doing a dynasty startup today, I mean, DeAndre Hopkins looks, he's getting 12
older.
targets.
Yep, he's getting older.
Right, but you're still looking at a short window. Tyreek Hill, it's too volatile. I mean, I could see him being a top 5 receiver, but those Seattle wide receivers look good as the top 5 selections too. I know those are your guys right there.
Those are my guys, of course.
Yeah.
Keselowski. Yes.
Yeah, no, I couldn't see Tyreek Hill. Tyreek Hill, I love Tyreek Hill, but I don't want him being like the cornerstone of my team. I want like a rock solid guy that's consistent week to week, being the number 1 pick in my team. And if you're the wide receiver 1, you're a first round pick. Do you agree with that, or?
It's tough. Juju held that spot for a lot of people last year, and then it's been a complete turnaround.
Even Devontae Adams might be,
Yeah, but when you really look at it, and you're staring down the barrel of a 5-year decision, says Lowski, maybe a 6-year decision. Who knows how you play dynasty? The wide receiver 1, Patrick Mahomes is number 1 receiver for the next 5 years. When you're drafting, you don't want to draft for volatility. Aaron Rodgers, how much longer is he going to be doing it? Drew Brees, he's out. Is Jameis in? Who knows?
How about your boy DK Metcalf? Not as the wide. I mean, maybe. Who knows?
No, see, says Lowski, you're getting too high on the DK. The guy's body is mesmerizing you. I know.
Yeah, but listen to me. I know it's only been 3 games this season, right? But he looks like peak Terrell Owens out there. That deep ball has been unstoppable. And I know, like I said, short sample, small sample, but dude, this guy looks like Terrell Owens out there. He's like going over people, through them. He's going around them. And, I mean, yeah, that hot dog play where he dropped, he got the ball knocked out of it. That's a maturity thing. He'll get that, corrected. He's a monster, man. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if we're talking about, we're definitely going to be talking about DK Metcalf as a 2nd-round redraft pick next year. I guarantee it. Late 2nd, early 3rd. In a dynasty startup, man, I just don't see many guys that are with that youth, with that upside.
Yeah, the upside, I guess, says Lowski. But to me, I know what Patrick Mahomes and the Cheetah can do on any given week, every single week. Yeah. I don't have to worry about it.
Don't hate it. Don't disagree with it.
Says Lowski, let's get into our favorite flex plays on the week. And let's go and dominate. Well, because I know teams like mine and the 14-teamers need this, says Lowski. Yeah. They need it. Give it to me.
Yeah, here's the first one. This one, I wrote about this one for Roster Watch. He was on one of my, I do a column every week for Roster Watch called $0 bidding. And these are players that you could, if you're in a league that bids on fab guys, and you could put in $0 bid, or you can pick them up after your waiver wire runs. Now, as we get, more importantly than ever, sorry to give a long answer here.
No,
it's not just about the waiver wire. It's about the grind on Thursday after the wire runs this year, and it's more about Friday and Saturday. It's following the news and picking up guys. So there's going to be players that emerge during that time period. I think my first flex play this week, Greg Ward.
Yes.
On the Philadelphia Eagles. He had the last month of the season last year, he averaged 8 targets and produced for you. Last week, he got 11 targets, caught 8 balls for 70 yards and a touchdown. The Eagles are decimated. I see people picking up John Hightower in some really super deep leagues. Greg Ward is a player that I'm picking up right away. Usually he's free on the waiver wire. He might even still be on your waiver wire, and I'm plugging him in my lineup right now. If I have Deontay Johnson, if I had any of the Tennessee pass catchers, if I had Jonnu Smith in my flex, I'm putting Greg Ward in. I'm sleeping like a baby. I'm very happy. I have a nice floor, a 10-point floor, and I got an 18-point upside.
Yes, Greg Ward. He, I believe, was the only active wide receiver at practice on Friday. Okay, the only one. They got probably 11 on that thing. Okay, they only won. So, yeah, of course. But that was an easy softball, says Lowski. Of course it was. Yes, Greg Ward, if he's available, go get him. If you need him, smoke him if you got him. My first flex play on the week, says Lowski. How dare you interrupt me, says Lowski. I heard you ready to interrupt me.
No, I'm listening.
You were all hyped off of the filet mignon and your Pinot Noir, okay, or whatever it is called over
Pinot
there.
Pinot Noir.
Says Lowski, tell me how you feel about Preston Williams, says Lowski. Yes, the Seahawks without Jamal Adams. Okay, now Jamal Adams really, I don't know that he's a coverage scare. He's really a knock your QB off his spot scare, but I seem to believe that Shaq Griffin is a halfway decent corner, even though the Seahawks are giving up, I think, like the second worst pass defense in the entire NFL. Here's the thing. What if Devontae Parker gets locked down? Preston Williams can see a ton of volume this week, and I'm really not hesitant to put him in my lineup. And I'm a little bit skittish about a couple of these stars returning off injury. I don't know. I don't want to put in a dud, says Lowski, and it's pretty hard to think that Preston Williams is going to put up a dub this week or a dud. Preston Williams, my first flex play, says Lowski, number 2.
Yeah, well, I was going to just piggyback on what you were saying there is that Preston Williams led this team in just overall targets and yards the first couple of weeks, and he got injured in week 9 last year. He's just now getting back to normal. He's a monster. He's going to get better and better and better each week. I think people forgot about Preston Williams. That's really smart of you to bring him up and put him back into the ethos, because if he was dropped in your league or someone just got tired of him, not only is he pick upable, he is playable this week. I like that. And I in any given week, we could see Tua at any given time. So I think that's a plus for Williams as well. So I like that play.
Love it.
Yeah. My number 2 guy is that, you and I were both high on Paris Campbell. It's a shame that he got hurt again. Michael Pittman, some sort of crazy compartmental syndrome, whatever the hell that is. I know it seems to be serious. So they're down pass catchers. T.Y. Hilton does not look good to me. He just doesn't. He looks a little kind of washed. So I always liked Zach Pascal. So that's the guy I'm picking up in deeper leagues. Even going back to his days at Old Dominion, he was a nose for the end zone, ripped the ball away from defenders. I'm picking him up in leagues where I'm unsure if I can play Sammy Watkins, or if I have a Patriot, if I have N'Keal Harry. Zach Pascal should be available to you. Flex number 2.
Seslowski, you brought up a great point that I forgot to bring up earlier. What are you doing with this Kansas City Chiefs game? Are you just not playing your players if Sunday morning rolls around and there's no definitive answer, or are you going to risk it for the biscuit, Seslowski?
Yeah, I think there's in 1 QB leagues with Mahomes, I think you have to find a replacement. In super flex leagues, just roll them out there. If you get the 0, you get the 0. And with CEH, hopefully, I mean, it all depends on who you have as a backup. But if you're talking about Sammy Watkins or Mecole Hardman, or even Travis Kelce, if your backup is TJ Hawkinson, I don't think you want to risk a 0 for that. So it all depends. It's roster dependent, but I think you have to be prepared to take a 0. What say you?
No, says Lowski. I don't like it. I don't like it. You know what? Pascal, I don't like that either. Hold your nose. Hold your nose while you're diving in the pool that's actually a swamp. Says Lowski. Last week against the Jets, the guy had a 93% snap count. 93% of plays, scored 5 fantasy points.
Yeah. I mean, this week they're going to need him this week. I mean, the Pittman's out, Campbell out, T.Y. Hilton not looking great. I mean, last week against the Jets, all they did was run the ball. They didn't need him. He's a good player. Zach Pascal is a good player, and this week he's the number 2 receiver. He's the number 2 target.
Zach Pascal, you heard it here first. Martini Al throws Zach Pascal in there. Okay, says Lowski, my second play of the week regards a team with a returning star athlete, 2 of them on the offense. They are Deebo Samuel and George Kittle. Of course, we're not liking George Kittle this week. I don't like it. Shane loves it. In our Thrive 5 Thrive plays that Shane said, he's liking Kittle for over his prop of 60.5 yards this week. I'm a little scared off of that, says Lowski. What do you think? What do you think about George Kittle coming in and being more of a decoy in his first week back, not needing a power win against a broken down Philadelphia team, says Lowski?
Yeah, but my gut feeling is if George Kittle's playing, George Kittle's ready to play. So they're not going to chant. They listen. They were able to beat the Giants with basically all backups. They're not going to rush George Kittle out there. So if he's out there, he's healthy.
That's what I'm saying, says Lowski. Why rush the guy out? Why play him at all? If you're going to, it's the Eagles. Carson Wentz seems washed. Okay. He's got no wide receivers. This guy, the defense is breaking down, I think.
Yeah, no, I think you're right. I think you're right about that.
That's why my second play is Brandon Ayuk. It's Ayuk because Debo's coming back. They got a key on him. George Kittle's coming back. They got a key on him. And they seem to forget that last week Ayuk put up a 20-pointer. Okay? They want to use him in every role. He had 3 carries, 31 yards. Are you kidding me, says Lowski? Plus his target share and his monster. I mean, he was great out there. He looked good. He surprised me. Okay, guys are down on him this week. Debo's returning. George Kittle's returning. Brandon Ayuk. Okay, book it. Says Lowski, your last flex play on the week after your filet mignon, your martini, your Pinot. How does it feel to go from a martini to a soft Pinot Noir?
That's actually the right thing to do. You don't.
Is it?
Yeah. You want to start with the martini, then you have your, you have your meal, and then while you're having the meal, you go with the Pinot, and like you said, it softens it and it brings you back to where you need to be. I mean, it's exactly what you nailed it right.
Is that how you're supposed to do it? Because every time I start dabbling, I always say that phonetic thing in my head, or I don't know if it's phonetic is the word, but is it liquor before beer? You're in the clear.
Never fear. Right?
What?
Yeah, liquor. Yeah, you have it right. Liquor before beer, never fear.
Okay, so yeah, you're supposed to start with the old shot of tequila and end with a nice something else. And your body's fine. It's on the recovery. You think so?
Yes.
All I'm saying is this is a podcast about life, says Lowski. We're trying to teach people here how to do things right, because we got a guy on our other side here. His name is Chris, and he does things in the entire wrong way. Shout out to my boy Chris. That's value, if you know what I mean. Let's go to our last value play, also known as the flex play, says Lowski.
Yeah, I mean, it's likely in your 10 or 12 team league he's available, and he's probably on your bench this week if you're in a 14er. But I would activate Randall Cobb. Last week, 4 catches, 95 yards, and a touchdown. He's healthy. He looks good. They need him. Will Fuller's always a dicey bet to make it through the game. They're playing Minnesota. Is Houston going to go 0-4? Hopefully not. I don't want to see them be knocked out right away. But I like Randall Cobb as an ugly. I've done all wide receivers this week because I feel like, when you're talking about flex plays, you're talking about guys outside of the top 36 ranked receivers that could finish inside the top 36. And, Randall Cobb, for me, he's looked pretty good. We liked him preseason. The first game was iffy, but if you want a high floor with, again, a nice 10-point floor with an 18-point ceiling, he's not going to win your week. But when we're talking about flex plays, that's the guy I want to go and get in my lineup this week.
Yes, says Lowski. To finish this off, tell me what you think about my boy. Now, here's the thing, says Lowski. May not play this week. Don't know it yet, just because the game got postponed. But what do you think about James White this week, says Lowski? He's been gone for a couple weeks, but they usually use him in, idealized game script games where we know we're going to have to pass and we're definitely going to have to probably pass the entire game. Now, Hoyer's going to start, I think, this guy. This guy.
Yeah, the only, and I love that call. But the only thing that concerns me with James White is that Rex Burkhead was the number 2 running back last week. And I know it's 3 touchdowns buoyed that value, but he played the James White role. So sure, James White had the tragic thing happen with his family, and now he's back. He's not going to lose his job because of it. But New England did see that Rex Burkhead was capable in that role. And maybe it's just that when James White's out, Rex Burkhead's going to have that role. Or Rex Burkhead and James White are going to have that role together now. So that's my only concern, is that Rex was so effective in that role that he could gnaw away in the first week back for James White. But overall, the concept, the pass catching running back in the New England offense versus Kansas City, that excites me.
Yes, says Lowski. One last thing, says Lowski. What else excites you?
Oh, you excite me. That beard.
Yes, that's the exact answer we were looking for, says Lowski. He is Alan Seslowsky at ALANSES Low Sky. Find him on Twitter, writing content for us, DFS Army, and Roster Watch. I am Flex Matt. You can find me maybe throwing shenanigans on our Twitter. You never know. If it's shenanigans, it's me. Don't blame everybody else. At the Flex Network 1. We will see you guys next week. Let's hit on our flex plays and let's flex on our competitors.
This is the Flex Network. This is the Flex Network. Flex on them. Flex on everybody. This right here is the Flex Network. Yeah.